Hi everyone, welcome back to the Recovery Channel. Today I'm a little off topic. I want to discuss what happens at the end of puberty as far as plasticity in your brain. Now, I've read a lot of medical textbooks on the subject of early and late puberty, and so for males it can start early, around 12, females sometimes earlier. Females going into puberty is highly dependent on whether there's a father in the picture. If there's an absent father, she'll go into puberty 1 to 2 years earlier than her peers. That was a study that Jordan Peterson published. That was a brilliant study. So the later end of puberty for males is around 25. So your brain stops being as plastic. I'm not going to say not plastic because that's not true. It stops being as plastic for a male around 25 years old. Females mature a bit earlier, around 23 and a half, 22 years old. Females always mature earlier than males. But I'd like to talk about what happens at the end of puberty. So kids are naturally happy and enthusiastic because they're always learning. Their brains are like sponges. They're constantly learning things and they're always naturally happy. Most kids are naturally happy. Like, you get the terrible twos and all that, but most kids are naturally happy. I'm pretty safe to say that, aren't I? And that's because they're constantly learning. Now, when we reach the end of puberty, so for males around 25, as I said, your brain becomes less plastic and your biases and I guess your habits are almost set in stone, particularly your biases. If you're studying psychology, make sure you understand bias quite well, because it's really important to understand what a bias is and where it can be used. So I just don't understand why when we hit this edge of puberty, say 25, we hit this point where we're like, we have to rebuild our lives again. We have to watch Jordan Peterson. We have to buy his books. We have to start again. We have to relearn everything. It's like we're not happy anymore at the end of puberty. I don't understand why, and I'd like an answer from a psychologist or someone from the like as to why. But yeah, kids are naturally happy, and as you get to the edge of puberty, you stop learning. Your biases and all of your habits are pretty well formed. Hey baby, shush. Sorry about that. So it's around 25 that we start picking up books like Jordan Peterson's, or even earlier than that, and just seem to be putting our lives back together at the end of puberty. I don't understand why. We aren't naturally just happy like kids are, because our brains are no longer as plastic and we've stopped learning. A lot of happiness comes from learning. I find a lot of my happiness comes from learning. That's why children are so happy, because they're constantly learning. When I say learning, obviously it's stuff like this, very chewy, dense medical books that I read. They take a bit to get through, but it's well worth it. So yeah, I'd like an explanation from somebody as to why we get into this rut at the end of puberty, and we have to almost restore and rebuild and start again in a way, and like everything I've thought for my entire life was wrong. Everyone's thought that at some point. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the edge of puberty and why we decrease in happiness at the end of puberty, why kids are happier than adults and the like. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks guys.